two key points from here. Basically about how we should always be different from the rest, and also the key notion of entrepreneurs and creativity, can that be trained? So any of our panelists would like to address the remark?
It's on? It's on? Okay. Well, I think the point you make, which I agree, is that in the earlier years, by not following conventional wisdom, before the 1990s, the conventional wisdom was import substitution. Singapore went for exports. So those, I think, were key elements that helped us. India, China were all isolated, insulated, and by being unconventional and being different, we were able to carve a niche for ourselves. And because there were so few players, we could do well. Now, is this the best strategy going forward? My response would be, I think competitiveness can arise from being different. As business people, you all know that if you're different, you have a different product, you have different attributes, you can carve out a competitive position for yourself. My response is today, it is harder and harder to be different. Companies that do well being different, doing better, there are lots of copycats out there, and in many jurisdictions, intellectual property rights are not so well enforced. So what if say today, if this was 1990s again, and Singapore, because we have shown that we are able to respond, and we adopt an export strategy and not an import substitution strategy, I think today there will be many, many cities in China or India or even countries that will look at us and say, let's just follow Singapore. So the idea that we can be different and we can strike out a path on our own and therefore do well just by being different, I would say that today it is harder because the world is more globalized. The world is watching, everybody is watching each other, and it is harder to maintain that competitive difference. So you have to look for things which people may know that this is a way to go, but very hard to replicate. So I think Michael mentioned something like safety, rule of law, tripartite cooperation. Everybody look at us and say, oh, this is some of the key elements. But how to reach the same level of tripartite cooperation, of agility. You can say safety is very important, rule of law is very important, preservation of intellectual property rights is very important, being open is very important, having good education is very important, having entrepreneurs is very important. Everybody can tell you these are very important. But how do you execute? I think this is where Singapore maintains today some elements of still being competitive and being able, through our track record of delivering such actions, demonstrate to investors that this is not just words. This is, in fact, many, many years of track record, and more importantly, assurance and certainty that going forward, you will have similar or, in fact, better conditions, and therefore they are prepared to put in hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in investment. So that's very important.
Thank you very much, Minister. So track record, certainty and assurance is the way to go. What about the other panelists? Any thoughts or comments?
I'd like to address the issue of entrepreneurship, whether it can be trained. I don't think it's a question of training. I mean, you need to have some innate talent or inclination to entrepreneurial activity. And there are ways to nurture and improve on that talent. In business schools all across the world, you have courses, programs to mentor entrepreneurs, to teach them the basic principles of how to start up businesses. You have also venture capital firms who provide the support, the know-how, to get things started. So I think this is something that we are already doing, and we can do more. And the question is whether we are doing enough to grow the next generation of entrepreneurs. I think we are seeing the beginning of a next generation of entrepreneurs. I mean, I can share with you that at SMU we have a very strong program on developing student entrepreneurs. In fact, we provide funding for students. Anyone with an idea that the thing is worth doing can propose that to a panel within the university, and we'll get it started, for sums of between 100,000 to 500,000. And some of these businesses have actually made it quite successfully, in the local market, and some have actually gone overseas as well. So I think the universities are doing that, and I think we can certainly hope to do more in the future to grow the next generation of entrepreneurs.